Who's going to win this game? I'm going to take the upset and say the home team wins this. Cleveland Browns can win this game. Welcome to Just the Stats NFL, the show that covers the NFL statistical leaders from the all-time greats to the current players leading the NFL. I'm Ernie Jennings, your host. And in this podcast, we're looking at Week 5 pregame between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. Take a quick look at that. The all-time record between these two teams is Minnesota leads the series 12-5. The home team will be the Cleveland Browns. They're 1-3 right now. And as far as top 10s go, they have none currently. That happens when you don't have a quarterback, a running back, or receiver that's been on the team for any length of time to start to rack up career-type numbers. But on defense, they do have some, but currently none in the top 10 that we can talk about at this point. Key injuries for the Cleveland Browns. Wide receiver Cedric Tillman will be out with a hamstring injury. He's actually on injury reserve. So if you happen to have him on a fantasy team, he is gone for 4 weeks at least. All right, let's look at the Minnesota Vikings. They are 2-2. And as far as they go, top 10s for them. Harrison Smith has 37 interceptions. Incredibly, that's a good amount. He's been playing since 2012. He's got 37 interceptions. He's tied with Joey Browner, who played from 1983 to 1991. They both have 37, so he just needs one interception. That is Harrison Smith to move into fourth place all by himself. So we'll see if he can get it in this game. Ed Shirachman is third all-time with 40, so that'll be Harrison Smith's next target if he can get past Joey Browner. All right. That is it for top 10s. Looking at key injuries for Minnesota, it's the same thing here. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy's out again with his ankle. Not on injured reserve, but he is out another game. So it's going to be Carson Wentz in this game again. All right, let's take a look at the fantasy outlook in this game. Now, starting with the quarterbacks. Well, from a fantasy aspect, I'm not sure you want to start either one of these. Dylan Gabriel will be starting for the Cleveland Browns over Joe Flacco. That's been a change that's been made. As a rookie, I'm not sure you want to start him. He has more scrambling ability, but you just wonder, about the passing situation for him. And I think that this game will be, as far as Cleveland goes, an attempt to keep it more on the ground, even if Gabriel's also running the ball a little bit. But they're going to try to give it to Judkins, I believe. Now for Minnesota, you have Carson Wentz, who has been okay. He's 30th ranked wide receiver at this point in time. Quarterback at this point in time. He's only played 2 games. His last 2 games, he had 15 points against the Bengals, fantasy points we're talking about in PPR. And he had 19 against the Steelers. Against the Steelers, he threw for 350 yards. Problem is, he did have 2 interceptions in this game, and he has an issue about hanging onto that ball, which can be a major issue to his health. So I just don't know if he's somebody you want to hang on to or you want to start, especially against the defense like the Cleveland Browns. I think they're going to come after him as heavy and as much as they can, put a lot of pressure on him, and I do see Carson Wentz possibly having some more interceptions in this game and being sacked more than once. Now, looking at the running backs, right now, definitely want to start Quinshon Judkins for the Cleveland Browns. He's a 24th ranked running back. Now, you have to remember he's 24th already, but he's only played in 3 games. So each game, he's increased his fantasy points. First game against the Ravens, he only carried the ball 10 times, but he ended up with 10 fantasy points. Against the Packers, he had 16.5 fantasy points. And then against the Detroit Lions, he had 21.5. So he went from 10 carries to 18 carries to 21 carries, and he's got 2 touchdowns already. He's also becoming more involved in the passing game. He is going to be their lifeline to a win, I think, if the Cleveland Browns can win this game. So he's in 3 games, he's had 2 top 12s already. So he's definitely somebody I'm going to start. Now you also have Jordan Mason for Minnesota Vikings, who's been playing well. He's the 23rd ranked running back. Now he's been top 12 one time. He's been in every game, but obviously the first game, he wasn't the only running back going here. His situation's been a little bit different. He's had a big game against the Bengals, which seems like everybody does. He's had 23.6, but other than that, against the Steelers, he was 10.2. That's his second best. That was just last week. Despite the fact they are definitely handing him the ball, he's been carrying it like 16 times, and he is involved in the passing game a little, not as much as it appears Judkins may be. I think I'm starting Judkins. I don't know if I'm starting Mason. You've seen a lot of running backs, except for Gibbs, who is great, really fall down against the Cleveland Browns. Gibbs, like I said, is the only one I've seen who's had a good game against them. Even Henry had a terrible game, and so did Jacobs for Green Bay. So I'm not expecting a big game out of Mason in this one. Now, looking at the wide receivers. Well, for Cleveland, I really don't know that you want to start anybody, though I will say that Jerry Jeudy is their number 1 wide receiver. And there is a possibility that he has a decent game here, because one of the things that's been an issue with Flacco is accuracy down the field to somebody like Jerry Jeudy, and the fact that he just, when he has to wait that long, he's being pressured or sacked. Flacco was. Now, the difference with Gabriel is that he can move around. So that's going to give him a little bit more time to try to get the ball out to Jerry Jeudy. So I think, and I'll tell you why, but I do think Jerry Jeudy is somebody you might want to play. Now, Isaiah Bond will be their second wide receiver because of Cedric Tillman being out. He is maybe a surprise player or a sneaky player, put it that way. You might, if you need a player because you've got players, wide receivers on bye, you may sneak him in there. But you can still probably pick up Jerry Jeudy, even though he's not available everywhere. Because he hasn't had much of a season, you might see him available. I would definitely pick up Jeudy if I could and play him. Now for Minnesota, Jefferson's the 15th ranked wide receiver. I do expect anybody to start him. You're going to start him every week no matter what. He's had 1 top 12 so far and 2 top 24s. But I think he's just kind of picking up the pace here. Carson Wentz, when he has the time, will try to throw it definitely down the field. Now that will be the problem, though, is for him to get the ball to Jefferson before he's being sacked or pressured. But he'll definitely try. Another one is Addison. First game back. He was gone the first 3 games. The first 3 games, he was missing the first 3 games because of suspension. Last week, game 4, 4 catches on 8 targets, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Huge game. It really is helping Wentz as far as that goes. So Addison's another one you might consider as your second or flex wide receiver. Definitely going to start. I would start either one of them, probably over even Jerry Jeudy or Isaiah Bond for sure. All right. As far as tight ends go, you're going to probably want to start Harold Fannin. He's been all right. He's had 2 top 12 games. The problem with them, like I've said before, is Njoku's taking some plays away from him. But between the two, it's definitely been Fannin who's been the better of the two. All right. Now, I believe, if I'm correct here, let me find this real fast. I do believe that, let's see, Hawkinson. I don't know if you want to start him. I had heard rumor he may not play, but I guess he's going to play. But he hasn't produced much. He's had 1 big game. Other than that, it's just been so-so. 1 touchdown. You might want to start him. He's a good outlet for Wentz for the Minnesota Vikings, so maybe Hawkinson might be a start. Otherwise, I'm definitely thinking about Fannin as well. That'll be another outlet for Gabriel. All right. Who's going to win this game? I'm going to take the upset and say the home team wins this. Cleveland Browns can win this game. I do believe there's a chance that they can shut down Jordan Mason in the running game, and they can put a lot of pressure on Wentz. One of the differences, Detroit handled the defense of Cleveland pretty handily, but they did it because they understood the idea of just quicker passes, shorter passes, get it out, and just get what they could get. Carson Wentz seems to look more down the field before he looks anything closer. So if that's the way he plays this game, he's going to be laying on the ground quite a bit. So I'm going to pick an upset. I know it's a big if thing here, but I'm going to pick the Cleveland Browns to win this. I do think that with Gabriel having a little more ability to scramble, and with Judkins having a big game, hopefully, that Cleveland Browns have a chance. So if Gabriel can scramble some, get some first downs on it with his legs, and then scramble and find Jerry Jeudy down the field somewhere, they could open up this game and pull out a win. But definitely it will be their defense that will make the biggest difference in this game. All right, that is a wrap for this episode of Just the Stats NFL, the game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. Like and subscribe at Just the Stats NFL. You can find it on YouTube, on your podcast sites, Apple, Spotify, and so forth, and also Just the Stats NFL, gmail.com if you want to leave me a comment. Appreciate you listening, and until the next pregame, I'm out.